Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to, I guess, what we're calling Season 2 of the Four Corners Podcast. My name is John, and I am your host who missed this podcast the most. And I'm joined by all of my co-hosts. Damien?
Hey, John.
How have you been, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
You know, we've recorded this about 3 times already.
Yeah, man. Dude, how's your classes?
Yeah, man, dude. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
dude. My classes? Hey, you know what? I'm glad you asked about that because I'm actually enjoying my classes.
Yeah, man.
I'm really excited for this semester to
You excited for the future?
I'm excited
I
for
usually
the
am.
future.
I was hoping no one would say that, but
Oh,
Me
that's
too.
a running.
Season
It's a running gag.
It's a meme,
And
bro.
You're right.
since he spoke up, we'll jump to Ethan.
oh, hi.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well.
How's life going for you?
Life is going great. You know, I'm starting to advance in my major and doing all that stuff. So I'm pretty excited.
I'm pretty proud of you. I see the work that you do in Emerge Wrestling,
Yeah.
and it makes me very
I'm
excited to see that you're improving every day.
Yeah, I'm
and
getting a bigger role in Emerge, which is nice, and I'm starting to love it. Starting to love it again.
I'm starting to love you,
Oh, I love you too.
even though I have loved you for a while.
That's nice.
Yeah. Nick, I see you smiling over there, buddy. Nick,
What's up, John?
you just look like you're in a great mood.
I'm feeling the love right now.
You're feeling the love. You
Yeah.
don't always feel the love when we're here.
I always feel the love.
You always feel the
I'm feeling
love?
really hard right now.
I mean, we are back into full swing. The boys and I have been incredibly busy lately with school. We just had winter break, so it's hard for us to get together and do these kind of things. But with the road to WrestleMania essentially underway, we are back. We're going to be doing this brand new Four Corners podcast. We have a brand new format, brand new way we want to do things. And it's basically just a streamline, essentially. We felt that this is a lot better, and I think we're all pretty excited for this new format that we're going to be doing. Essentially, we're just going to be thinking about topics that are very glaring in the eyes of WWE fans everywhere. Maybe other promotions, but we'll be sticking to WWE mainly. And it's just the topics that have been glaring and are right in our faces that we've been hearing a lot about. And so with our season 2, we started this podcast just about a year ago. And as wrestling fans, all of our opinions change all the time. So what we wanted to do, get back into season 2, get back into the swing of things. We wanted to update our favorite current wrestlers and our favorite wrestlers of all time. But we all pretty much agreed that it is hard to choose 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to up that to 5. And I'll start with my top 5s. Someone who, since I just got into wrestling, I didn't really know much about this man here. But currently, my favorite wrestler right now at the moment is Braun Strowman. No doubt in my mind.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
No
Good pick.
doubt in my mind. Just the everything that he does. I love the cartoony approach that WWE has taken with him, and it makes it like seem that they're not insulting my intelligence. Like, I understand that Braun Strowman can't flip over a semi-truck. It's entertaining at its finest. My second choice is Aleister Black.
Also good choice.
Great.
Yeah, he is just exceeding my expectations every time. And I've always loved him, but that match with Velveteen Dream, just
so
silky,
good.
So good, yeah.
silky smooth. My third choice might come as a surprise, but they have definitely proven to me that I think they are
It's a tag
Yeah.
team?
tag team, the Usos.
Ooh.
Okay.
What they did with the New Day is just incredible. And they dragged that feud on for so long that it didn't feel that long though, with it, as much as they were putting into it. And it was new and it was fresh every week. My fourth pick, it's an interesting pick for me because he was in my top 3 of all time at the beginning, Samoa Joe. His promos are essentially unmatched right now, and his work in the ring just as much so. And I think we can all agree on this one. My 5th pick was Rusev.
Oh, happy Rusev Day, by the way.
Happy Rusev Day, yeah. He is one of those stars that can turn anything WWE gives him to gold. Given the worst thing, and not that Rusev Day is a bad thing, but it shouldn't be as over as it is, honestly. No. But just because it's Rusev doing it, and I wanted to put her in the list, but I just couldn't squeeze out anybody else. So my honorable mention, it might surprise you guys, is actually Nikki Cross.
See, I really like her too.
I love her, and I think she is the future of the women's division.
She's definitely underrated
Her
right now.
character is something I've never like. We've had crazy women characters
of
like
those.
Victoria and Mickey James, but nobody as volatile and sadistic as Nikki Cross. So I'm excited to see what she can do later. I'll just go quickly through my top 5s of all time. I just didn't want to like take up too much time. But The Undertaker, I mean, obvious choice. We'll get into that later. We have some topics to talk about. Nick will be happy about this one. CM Punk.
Heck yeah.
So I growing up watching wrestling, and I got out of it just as soon as CM Punk started to pick up steam. So I didn't get to watch, the club that he had, the what's that called?
The Straight Edge Society.
The Straight Edge Society.
Oh, yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
that was. I didn't get to watch that as it happened. I didn't get to watch Money in the Bank as it happened. I didn't get to watch all of that. And I just got into wrestling last year when we did this podcast. And I rewatched all that stuff. And there's just something about him that is unbeatable. But I am remaining with some of my picks that I had last time. So Jeff Hardy, since we did this last list, Jeff Hardy returned to the WWE, which I was excited to see, but he's injured. Still one of my favorites of all time ever. Rey Mysterio, I'm still going to have him up there. And my last spot is a toss-up between Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels. Once again, Shawn Michaels, like I just rewatched a bunch of his stuff on the network, and I just forgot how much I loved him. And Stone Cold is Stone Cold, so.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my list. Damien, I would love to hear who you have and why you have them.
You want current favorites first?
Yeah, let's do currents first.
This you said Rusev. I'm gonna say Rusev is my favorite right now.
Okay.
He's been just thrown under the rug so many times, but now the crowd loves him, and I'd really like to see him, maybe get go for the United States Championship. But he's with Aiden English right now, so maybe they can win the tag titles soon. But I have high hopes for Rusev. Nick, you're gonna love this. The Miz is one of my current
Yeah.
favorites. He is unmatchable on the mic. He shoots the best promos, and they feel real. You know what I mean? Like just everything coming out of his mouth. Like he has so much charisma and passion for the business, and
Nick's dancing.
I've not always liked the Miz. I'll admit that, but looking back at where he started, because I was watching some older stuff, he's improved from the Diva Search until now, and I hope he regains the Intercontinental Championship. So we'll see about that.
Next week.
My next favorite, Cesaro.
Good choice.
I was watching a thing on the WWE Network about like they were taking pictures and showing him, and he would comment on them,
Yeah, I saw that.
and that was
What was
pretty
his
cool.
episode? Was it his teeth?
Yeah.
Picture? Yeah. I didn't watch that one yet, but looks good.
But no, I've always enjoyed him, and he's with Sheamus right now. The two guys that have been in the business for a little while, so we'll see about that. My next favorite, Dean Ambrose. He's injured right now, but Dean's a guy that I've liked ever since the Shield. And then when he went off on his own, I kind of backed him ever since then. So we'll see about that one too. I'm saying that a lot, but we'll see. It's WWE. They
Anything can happen in WWE.
Right.
I mean, it was supposed to be like Seth and Dean at WrestleMania. That was like the rumors going around. So we'll see if it's actually, he's actually going to be out for Mania, or if it's just storyline. Because you remember when Braun Strowman was out forever.
For 6 months. And he
Yeah,
was
he's
Right.
back in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. And then AJ Styles is my last current favorite.
That's right.
AJ's so good. I mean, did you guys saw AJ versus Finn when
yeah.
Bray couldn't compete, and that match was unbelievable. AJ has phenomenal matches, with John Cena. So
And his match with Brock Lesnar was easily the match of the night at Survivor Series.
yeah,
They won.
top 5 of all time. Edge. My nerves have calmed down. I was a little nervous for that first podcast, so
So
I
not
usually
the-
talk not the Edge.
Not the Edge.
It's
Just Edge.
Just Edge. I watched the top 25, and he's on there for. He's like number 5 or something. But Nick and I were talking. That's not a top moment. That's like the worst moment, for me. And I mean, I almost cried today listening to him talk about his neck and all the stuff that was going on there. Next favorite, Stone Cold.
Nice.
Okay.
One tough SOB.
Sob.
One sob, yeah.
That's right.
Next favorite, The Rock. Always enjoyed The Rock. I mean, I told this story about, me giving the people's elbow to my aunt. That's one of my favorite all-time wrestling stories. Shawn Michaels.
There you go.
We were watching something the other night, Shawn Michaels and God versus the McMahon. So
my God.
I love it.
Timeless.
Shawn Michaels was always thrown into a lot of different storylines, and he was good. And my last favorite, The Undertaker.
Of course.
We'll see what happens this Monday.
Right. See what happens.
We'll see what
Well,
happens.
That's my new thing.
Excited for the future.
Excited for the future.
I love
I
Charlotte.
switched it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think all your picks are great. I think all of us agree with your picks. Nick, with the
Okay.
Nick pick.
I got a few picks.
Oh, he's got a few.
Current number 1, of course, is The Miz. With The Miz, with me, if he retired tomorrow, he'd instantly make second place on my all-time favorite list. I've liked The Miz for all 8 years that I've watched wrestling now. I think it's just came about 8 years now. He's awesome. To not to be too cheesy, but like his promos are great. His wrestling in the ring improves with every year that goes by. And then just overall, he has some of the best moments that I've ever witnessed while watching wrestling live. Second, Dean Ambrose. Again, in a similar vein to what you guys were saying with Rusev, how he can turn crap into just gold. Like, no matter what dumb storyline he's in or whatever, lunatic fringe or whatever he's doing,
Right.
he pulls it off and makes it worth watching. Like, whether it's funny or serious or whatever, he does a really good job there. With my next, I kind of cheated a little bit. You guys might get mad at me. But my next 2 picks are tag teams loosely. I did
Okay.
I did Sammy and Kevin for number 3 because they're like 90% of why I watch SmackDown right now because their storyline right now.
Yep.
It's like the only thing going
Those
on.
guys with their feud with Daniel Bryan and Shane and all that, it's the most interesting thing right now on TV to me. And then number 4, my favorite thing on Raw right now is Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins. I think that duo and like they're really like organically showcasing that Rollins is still the architect that he was from the Shield, or he's
Right.
like mentoring Jason and he's helping him along and helping him like learn the ropes, being a better dad than Angle has ever been. And just like that team and that like Jason's kind of a heel, Seth's more of a face, and it's kind of like a cool dynamic going on right now. And then 5, of course, you can't have a top list right now. Sorry, John. You can't have a top list right now without AJ Styles because everything he does, it gets overlooked, which is fair because he's so consistent, so good every week.
To be fair, in my defense, I was going to put AJ Styles, but honestly, it seemed too obvious
That was
to
how I
have
felt
him
too.
on
Like,
there.
it's
And so I did. There were people that I wanted to put on there, like Nikki Cross and like the Usos, that like I don't want to overlook. And so AJ Styles to me is like, yeah, he's an obvious choice. Like he's the best. He's like top 3 best wrestlers in the world right now. So
It's like underrated right now how every week he best match, best performance, best storyline every single week. It's unreal how he's doing this right now. Getting into my all-time favorites, number 1, you all know is CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
I've been talked about that before. My all-time didn't really change a lot. I just added 2 more names. 2, Daniel Bryan still. 3 is still Christian, which with The Miz, he was my first ever favorite watching while watching wrestling. Miz and Christian were my top 2 back in the day, 2009. Number 4, Chris Jericho. God dang, that dude's like I hate to overuse it, but like a fine wine, better with age.
right.
Definitely.
We'll get into Chris
It's
Jericho.
amazing what he can do even today. And then my number 5, Shawn Michaels. When I first started watching wrestling, that was the tail end of his career. It's the last 4 or 5 months in WWE, and just the impact that he had just on me from being a fresh fan, little 13-year-old. He's really good, and I've gone back and I've watched all his tapes and his best matches and his best promos and all that. And he's untouchable. He's one of the best of all time to me.
I feel that. I mean, I dig your choices.
Thanks, man.
All of them are like little guys or littler guys.
Look at me.
But
Yeah.
I know, and going from one little
Mine's like
guy
that too.
to the next, Ethan,
Hey, what up?
what kind of choices do you have for us, my guy?
All right, so my top 5 current favorite. I'll go from 5 to 1,
Oh,
so it makes a little bit more
Okay.
more anticipated. Yeah, number 5 is Chris Jericho. Just because just like Nick said, he's better with age. His recent match with Omega was fantastic, and then number 4 is AJ Styles, just because
There you
of
go.
what he has done. It's obvious. Number 3 is I didn't know about this guy until January of last year, but since just watching him has just really, like, I fell in love with him, and that's Pete Dunne.
Oh, yeah,
he's
yeah.
the current UK champion. He's just I wish he was on TV more, and he did
No.
appear on Raw that one time and destroy Enzo. That was pretty great. But I mean, I fell in love with him. And my number 2 is actually a woman. It is Alexa Bliss.
Surprise, surprise.
It's not
Hi, Lauren.
It's not hi Lauren.
Hey.
It's not just because of her looks. Actually, she's actually
You sure?
yeah.
Quote,
I'm pretty,
unquote.
I mean, it's like half of it.
Yeah.
But she's actually done a lot better in ring work. I think in 2017, I think she's been champion longer than she's, the whole 2017. She's
Yeah.
been champion basically all of it. So that's pretty awesome. And number 1, you guys probably all know, is still Kevin Owens. He had kind of an okay year. With the
He didn't have a
United
KO
States.
year. He had
Yeah,
an
he had an
okay year.
okay year. Yeah, but his recent, tag team with Sammy has been pretty great. So, and I did add a number 6 because I had him originally at number 5, but it is Marty Scurll from New Japan and all that. But you guys probably don't know much about him.
Oh, I
but
called that.
Yeah, did you?
did
Yeah,
call
I
that.
didn't answer that, but yeah.
Neat.
I just fell in love with him. Anyways, go to my top 5 all-time favorites. Number 5, just like my number 5 on current, is Chris Jericho. And number 4 would be Kevin Owens, even though that he's only been in the business for 3 years now. He's really made me fall in love with him.
WWE.
In WWE, yeah, that's
Not
what
the
I mean.
business.
Not the business. I meant
He's
the,
a vet.
the business is WWE. He's really just made me love him. Number 3 is Chris Benoit. Even unfortunately, circumstances, and with all that, but I mean, just his in-ring work is top notch, and I think you can really tell with wrestlers like Daniel Bryan, who kind of has that similar moveset, that he was very impactful and like just an overall great wrestler. Number 2 would be Shawn Michaels. I'm not gonna go into more of that. And my number 1 is going to be Kane.
Kane.
Yeah, Kane. Wow,
course.
shocker there.
Ethan Kane.
Ethan Kane, that's my name. But I really wish this Universal title thing would have happened in his prime, where he would actually get a title shot,
Right.
and he was actually good. Because right now, I mean, 8-year-old me would be going crazy for this right now, him being in a triple threat match at the Royal Rumble, but yeah, it doesn't matter. He's still great in my heart. He's
To
old
you.
now.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just
Olden.
bigger.
Yeah,
Olden.
Mr.
You.
A
Mayor.
little bit bigger.
Well, speaking about us watching as kids, we might get some of that nostalgia factor coming into next week's Raw. So Raw is having their 25th anniversary,
Nice
not exactly the 25th exact anniversary, but it falls around the time. So they're just gonna go with it. It's happening at the Manhattan Center, right?
I think it's like
It's
two
a
venues.
two venues.
Oh yeah, they are doing 2
There's like a
venues.
2-hour pre-show or something, and then there's like a 3-hour.
Yeah.
Raw. I'm not sure how they're doing it.
I'm
to be
not.
honest.
Honestly haven't read a lot about Raw 25 besides who's showing up,
Yeah.
and it's a barn burner of people who are showing up. So I'll run down the list of the people that I have seen, and if I have missed anybody, you guys let me know.
There's so many.
So as far as we know right now, Stone Cold is making an appearance. I don't know if you guys want me to run through everybody and we can talk about them, or if you guys want to talk about them individually, because there's a ton.
There's too many to go through each one.
That's
so
what I was
really just
thinking.
run
So we
through
have Stone Cold. DX is showing up, which I'm excited
For the
about.
10th time.
Yeah, for the 10th time. But it's always good to see them.
Right.
Taker is coming back. We'll get into a little bit about Taker. Chris Jericho,
Surprising.
which
Surprising,
surprisingly, we'll talk about that in more detail. Maybe we'll talk about the bigger, like question marks or whatever going into this with these people. Hall and Nash, kind of interesting, but not as exciting. But what is exciting, J.R. and King. My favorite.
Heck yeah.
You know, I understand that Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan,
were great.
they're all great. But my favorite, I don't know about you guys, is J.R. and King.
I mean, it's like it's nostalgic, you know,
Yeah.
like it's what we grew up on, so it's pretty great to see him back.
Then a bunch of the other guys that we have, the Dudleys are coming back, the APA, Ric
Boo.
Flair, yeah I know, boo, the Bellas, for whatever reason, because apparently they're a draw.
They're hot.
Yeah, I know they haven't even had that big of an impact in Raw's 25.
That's debate. I mean, Nikki more than Brie, but I mean,
I hope Kelly's not tuning in right now because she's gonna get really mad at you for saying this.
I'm sorry, but like when I think of like 25 years of Raw, I don't think of the
Bellas have done
Bellas.
some
Yeah,
some-
especially
Also, I
important
missed.
things.
I missed that.
Nikki was
So-
the longest Divas champion.
Yeah, because
she-
they wanted to spite AJ.
Yeah, well, yeah, besides AJ Lee, but
I mean, the more you know. Like I said, I missed all that, but I'm just saying that when I think of Raw, I don't think of the Bellas. But Godfather is coming back.
Oh yeah.
Brother Love, Teddy Long, Holla Holla Playa.
Wait, so Taker and Teddy Long are gonna be on the same show?
Yeah.
It's-
You know, there's a
One-on-one with the Undertaker.
one-on-one with the Undertaker. I've seen so many memes about that. So many memes. John Laurinaitis.
For
Good.
some. God.
Lord.
Good Lord, I know.
Laurinaitis.
Ted DiBiase,
$1 Million Man.
the Boogeyman,
Oh yeah.
the Boogeyman, and Sergeant Slaughter. That's the list that I have. I don't know if I
when I
missed
think of the
any.
Boogeyman, I think of SmackDown, not Raw.
I know.
Yeah. I saw on Reddit today there was like a Facebook ad that wasn't on TV for Raw 25, and there was a new list of legends, much shorter, and some of them are like current. But Jeff Hardy, Christian, Mark Henry, and Brock are all confirmed, as well as SmackDown's Bryan, Shane, New Day, Orton, Charlotte, Natty, and the Usos.
Nice.
So it's going to be a really full show if
Right.
that
The
Facebook
Raw
ad is
Super
accurate.
Show.
Well, that's what they were discussing, is that they're going to do people were freaking out because they said it's a 5-hour show.
Mm-hmm.
But it is still only a 3-hour broadcast. It's a 5-hour show for the
People
live
in the
crowd.
audience.
But some of these names are really, really interesting to see.
Yeah.
First of all, I think one of the more interesting ones here is Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
We had that Wrestle Kingdom 12 match against Kenny Omega, which blew us all away. Meltz gave it 5 stars.
Okay.
We all have our opinions about
Let's slow
that,
down.
but yeah, we all have our opinions about that. But what we didn't expect to happen was he extended his New Japan stay.
Mhm.
So he'll be working. If he shows up on Raw, he'll be working 2 companies at the same time.
Yeah, because he's
Japan and Raw. at the
he's
same
still
time.
listed on WWE.com.
and if he happens to wrestle at WrestleMania, he'd be wrestling at like Wrestle Kingdom and WrestleMania in the same year. Like,
Yeah.
Didn't AJ do that? I think AJ did that.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not saying like he's the
Although-
first
No,
one,
yeah.
but yeah, he's like
Although
one of
also,
the few.
There's a Fozzy show the day of Mania, so Jericho's probably gonna be busy.
So, I mean, there are a lot of conspiracy theories flying around.
Yes.
And it seems almost unfathomable that Vince McMahon is okay with this.
yeah.
Because we actually haven't had like a good conversation about this. So like, I'm curious to think what you guys think about what's happening
Vince there?
because you know what
Did
I
you
mean?
guys-
Like,
I think he said that last night. Yeah.
Right, like-
Is Vince.
I think it was during the Dash and Dawson program.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, and also the curb stomp came back.
Yeah, and the curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He must have been gone for vacation or something.
Yeah.
But did you guys listen to Jericho's Talk is Jericho like right before Wrestle Kingdom? He talked with whoever the color commentator is, the English color
Oh,
commentator.
Don Callis?
Yeah. He talked to him and he was like, well, he called Vince and he told him Vince was like just totally okay with it. Like, yeah, do that. Like it's good for both New
Yeah.
Japan and WWE.
I heard about that.
So I
And
think that's pretty cool that he's open to that.
Yeah, and the interesting,
business.
yeah, the interesting thing is there have been a lot of opportunities where it would be good for both WWE and someone else.
Yeah.
The CM Punk example, like, there are a lot of people saying, or a lot of people that were saying, like, why didn't CM Punk just leave with the title and go wrestle in Ring of Honor with the title? Why didn't he go?
And like allegedly that was like kind of an idea, but then Vince shot it down and brought him back within a month and stuff like that. I don't know what's true and what's not. And then plus like was it last year or 2 years ago with the whole New Day versus the with the Young Bucks and Omega was a planned ideal feud.
When was this?
I think it was a year or two ago. It was something like that New Day and them were doing like online on Twitter and stuff, and they were like making hints at it on their own shows, but Vince wouldn't let it happen.
That'd be hot.
Yeah, it would have been huge for both companies, for both teams, massive, but it's fine.
I don't know. I was interested to see what you guys were thinking, because this is something that is almost unheard of.
Maybe he's easing up right now. Maybe Vince is starting to just kind of be more open and
Yeah, maybe
and
it's
not have to have the final say on every decision.
maybe his soft side's starting
Yeah.
to come out since
Maybe
with his
he
old
knows
age.
his time's coming up, and he wants to let people besides him make the decisions. And
If it was anybody else in the world, I would say, yeah, you're right. But it's Vince McMahon.
it's Vince, yeah. Next week he's gonna bury the he's gonna bury the revival, and he's gonna tell Jericho to go home, and yeah,
You're
back to being Vince.
Yeah, what if he
Yeah.
does like humiliate Chris Jericho live on,
You suck.
Easily.
right? You're fired. Yeah, it's just an interesting thing. We'll see. Chris Jericho's gonna have a program with Naito, which should be really, really good. But we'll keep an eye on that. But another big talking point is the return of The Undertaker. The Undertaker seemingly had his last match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, putting his entire attire in the ring and walking out hand raised, as he's done in other moments of, is this the last of the Dead Man? But this one was more final than any of the other ones have been, especially with his age in mind. You know, he broke character and kissed his wife.
And there was all those merchandise, the thank you Taker,
Yeah.
all of that.
Right. So Taker coming back. I mean, you said that he's one of your favorite wrestlers' name. What do you think he's coming back for? Exactly.
Nick and I have actually had this conversation how it would be cool if he came back as the American Badass. Sorry.
It's character.
So
Chill that out right now.
chill it out. But it's the Undertaker, and you know the guy seems to not want to quit. So, I think that maybe he'll have one more match. Maybe he'll come back as the American Badass. Keep rolling.
I think he will.
I want to see Cena and the Undertaker. I mean, the Undertaker had hip surgery, so maybe that went really well, and maybe he can come back. But I mean, the guy's getting old. I mean, it's one of those guys you never want to see go away. I mean, I was crying. I don't know if you guys.
I think we all.
Yeah, I think we all
cried.
shed a tear. Nah,
So
we're man.
So I mean, I hope he has one last match against Cena, because that'd be really cool. But I don't know.
Yeah, so one of the biggest rumors, one of the biggest speculations, because Nick mentioned something about Meltz saying that Cena is going for something bigger than the title at Mania. And seeing Cena's work in the ring, he's not he's not gassed yet. So he has more time for the title, and I think he will break Ric Flair's record at Mania. But the biggest rumor going around right now is that Taker is going to take on John Cena at WrestleMania. Is that something that you guys want to see?
On one condition, and he's got to be Biker Taker, 100%. It's like I was telling you guys this in our group message recently, how they can easily write just a Logan, like a Wild West spaghetti western finale story with him as Mark Calloway, the Undertaker Biker. Not as the dead man, magical phenom, just as an old man wanting to have one more big match against one guy he never got his hands on in his 30-year career, however long it was. And just the story writes itself. It's easy, basic, and it's compelling for any fan, whether you're casual or you're hardcore. I think if they do Biker versus John Cena straight up at Mania, I think that could easily sell, and it would be worth watching, despite his alleged retirement last year.
And I've already asked you. See, part of me obviously wants to see it. It's a dream match I want to see. The other part of me is wondering if Taker can go. And you mentioned to me about making that a part of the story.
Yeah, like, well, again, I'm taking it back to Logan because I'm a Marvel loser, but like in that movie,
You're just a loser, not just a
you're
Marvel
right,
loser.
but also a Marvel. Okay, but in that movie, the Wolverine Logan character, he was an old man. He had a daughter. He was dying of whatever disease it was, and he in the end, spoiler, he dies. All the way to the very end, he slowly like
I haven't seen it.
he slowly is dying throughout the film. Goes off in a big bang. He's killing people left and right in one last battle, and then he dies saving his kids at the very end. And that can be an easily written story for Taker to have his one last just to prove that he can still go win or lose. He can still give a good fight against the best there is right now, John Cena, and just go out with a big bang against Cena and then call it a career.
Right. And Cena is someone who adapts very well to people's style.
Definitely.
When he wrestled AJ, that was a New Japan match. That was a Japanese match between him and AJ. So I'm interested to see. Like,
and plus, with the respect that Cena has for Undertaker, he will give him a match whether he dies doing it. No matter what, those two are gonna have an absolute slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker.
I wish
My
it.
God.
I wish it would have happened last year though. But I mean, just because I know I talked to you guys about this last year, my prediction for the Rumble last year was Cena was gonna win the belt, which he did, and then Taker was gonna win the Rumble, and then that was gonna be Taker's last match. Taker was gonna win, and then that was my prediction. But no, they went with the big dog instead. But
Big dog.
But I mean, a year later, I guess it's fine only if he comes back as the Biker Taker. I agree.
I mean, I honestly like the idea, and I think the idea would be cool. I was never a huge fan of American Badass Taker. It didn't feel Taker to me. It felt Mark Calloway. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It
sure.
felt Mark Calloway.
Which I think suits this
and-
possible story.
Well, and also with that, I mean, the American Badass character went away for a while, and then the Undertaker, the dead man, came back. So that they
And had
a good
arguably his best
yeah.
series of his career.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, John. Let's say he's coming back no matter what. There's nothing you can do about it. Would you rather him be the Phenom character again and talk about digging holes and all his powers after getting beat down last year and then walking out like if
He
was
placed
done?
his hat in his jacket.
And I'm saying
I'd rather see him come back as himself instead of as this mysterious character.
no, and that's what I was getting at is that I never personally cared for American Badass Undertaker. I've always liked the Phenom character. It's just something, the entrance, it puts you in an entire mood. You never skip an Undertaker entrance. It just puts you in the mood. And his moveset is just so like Undertaker. You know what I mean? I like the storyline. It's just I think that Vince would rather have the Phenom, the one that, because when people think of the Undertaker, they don't go right to the American Badass version. They go right to the Phenom version.
But here's my counterpoint is that with Mania, Vince cares about casual fans these days. Like that's his primary selling point, which is why all the part timers come back, etc. So casual fans sees Undertaker versus John Cena, and nothing else. That they don't see Phenom or anything else. They're still gonna buy the pay per view.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
I don't think it really matters what character he is. I think it's still gonna sell a lot of tickets, a lot of network subscriptions.
I think what we can agree on, because I believe if there is a match, this will be the final one. We say that a lot, but this will be the final one. And if it is the final one, I think Vince is going to give Taker total control. I think he's going to let him have anything that he wants to do. And I know that was part of the reason American Badass was born. Because that's what Taker wanted to do, and that's when Taker felt like he was ready to go. Was then. Thank God he didn't, because
Yeah.
like
No kidding.
2005, 2006 Undertaker is one of my favorites ever. But yeah, we'll have to see.
I agree that I think Vince kind of owes him one because after the Brock match and after the Roman match, those are both Vince favors to Taker.
Not to
It's
mention,
making him do
not
those
to mention,
things.
he was like the only person who didn't leave WWE for
He's been the
WCW.
company guy for
Him
30
and
years.
Triple H are like the only ones.
And look at Triple H. He's
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
in control of
He is
NXT, and he
WWE.
is the successor to Vince McMahon. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Another point I wanted to bring up about Raw 25, you brought it up earlier about the Revival. They had that awesome promo where they said the words professional wrestler. They said
Wow.
we're not sports entertainment. But I was reading on Squared Circle today, and a lot of those pessimistic people,
It's the Ascension
anyways,
again.
Yeah.
it's the Ascension.
Oh my gosh.
I'm curious to know if you guys think that either the Dudleys or DX or
APA.
someone, the APA,
Yeah. Mhm.
someone is going to essentially bury them.
See, I can see them taking that exact same formula as the Ascension again and have the APA come attack them, but then flip the script and have the Revival show that they are the best team right now and just destroy the Legends, like toss them into the ground and show that they actually mean what they said.
That would be great.
Is that it? Is that
yeah,
your hope?
no, I was just
That
asking.
would be great.
It would be.
I read something that I liked where you can have the nostalgia pop. The revival, well, the revival wins. You know what I mean? They overcome, but have the Dudleys put them through a table at the end. You know what I mean? Like have that nostalgia pop.
Yeah.
It's the 25th anniversary. We're expecting some pops. But I just don't want to see the revival die.
After
Did-
that good promo that they had
After they're
last week.
finally healthy and ready to
Yeah.
go.
After they just revived.
I don't get it.
I'll leave.
You can leave the podcast.
Okay, bye.
You can leave the podcast.
I quit.
So yeah, I'm interested to see because I think the revival can be one of the top tag teams of this generation.
guys.
Yeah, one of
it.
the top tag teams if they can actually go through with that.
They're probably my favorite tag team to come out of NXT, honestly. Besides American Alpha,
RIP,
but
American
RIP, always in our hearts. But yeah, I hope they don't get buried or lost in the shuffle, like, or injured, or
Like the Ascension.
like the Ascension, like, because I like the Ascension too.
Yeah.
I think I started watching NXT right when they lost the belts to what was the Luchadors? What was their
Lucha
tag name?
Dragons.
Lucha Dragons.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah,
That was a
that's
good
when I just started watching NXT. And then, unfortunately, Ascension got called up and nothing happened.
So what do you guys think are some of the other roles? Because I haven't read anything other than the actual people that are coming, and I'm trying to sit here and like think about what their roles can be, and I didn't know if you guys had any ideas because I honestly don't. I don't know where they fit in the storylines that are currently going on, especially with it being the go home show to Rumble.
A lot of times with these clustered legend shows, they just kind of have them do like backstage, like feel good packages, videos, and whatnot. So I think we'll see a lot of that. Besides like Stone Cold and
I think-
stuff.
I
And the
there's,
Dudleys. The
like-
Dudleys will probably wrestle.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be a 20-man legend battle royal,
That'd be
and
really
whoever
cool,
it would be cool. I mean, I think
It'd be good, like the Rumble precursor.
didn't they do
to
that
it,
at
yeah.
Mania at, like
I think they
20?
25?
I mean-
Was it
No, it wasn't 20.
I mean, if they did
I
that,
don't
they
remember.
could give a spot, like the winner gets a spot in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Give it some kind of stakes.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm just like
That'd be
pulling
pretty
stuff
cool,
out of my
though.
butt here.
And
but-
also, I'm curious what kind of surprises we'll see because you got Stone Cold, but what about The Rock? Christian, what about Edge? You got all this Hulk Hogan. Come on.
I read Edge is not going to be at Raw 25.
Really?
Yes.
Why
yeah,
not?
I thought I heard Edge and Christian were both there.
I didn't read
You
it.
can't have Christian without Edge.
Yes, you can.
You can't.
I would
you
agree
can't.
that I would
I
argue
mean,
that you
it's-
can.
On
I don't know
an
why
anniversary
Edge wouldn't
show?
be there. I don't know why Edge wouldn't be there.
Yeah,
But I didn't read it. It was just a headline that I saw that.
and I'm almost certain that Hulk Hogan's gonna be there because it's been long enough that it's about time to bring him back and give him a big Mania whatever.
Mr. America.
Just bring Mr. America back. He's a SmackDown wrestler, but that's fine.
That's not Hulk Hogan.
That's not Stone Cold.
I mean, it's right about that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the things that they can happen because, like you guys were saying, some people might wrestle, but some of these guys aren't able to wrestle. You know, APA can kind of get in there, I guess, but the Dudleys obviously still can. But someone like Sergeant Slaughter, I would hate to see him try to,
Slaughter's always in the
or
backstage.
DiBiase.
gimmicks.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure they'll do like a Slaughter, Hacksaw, and $1 Million Man backstage, like IRS, probably like those old guys that aren't really capable of wrestling anymore.
yeah, I just don't want them to hurt themselves because, as we know, talking about Edge, talking about Taker with his injuries, there's another injury that we are just dumbfounded about. And we have no idea. We're just going to have to continue watching Raw and continue seeing these updates for WWE. But what is going on with Paige? As far as we know, the reports are all saying that she is done for good, at least in the WWE. Almost the same neck injury as Edge, right?
Yeah.
Very similar.
Mhm.
But WWE hasn't come out and said that, and she hasn't cut a promo or anything like that. In fact, she's been showing up at the shows. All they've said is that she's not going to be at the Rumble.
But big old Melt's dog.
Melt's daddy.
Melt's
he won't
daddy,
lie.
yeah, he says that her in-ring career is over. So who knows?
I mean, they could be. I mean, they could be lying. They could.
Did you see the video of?
It
of her
was
getting
it was
kicked?
pretty
Yeah,
bad,
yeah.
She looked
but
really terrible.
to cover it up because like,
She looked awful.
I mean with Edge he got to do a farewell speech, but Paige is also still in a storyline.
Yeah.
So that's where I think they're not wanting to give her that yet.
Just kind of make her a manager, but keep running tests on her for a while and see if she can maybe come back.
And that's a good point because running into the same situation as Edge, by the time that Edge had to retire, yeah, he still could have a lot of years left in him, but he had done everything. He was
Yeah.
world champion. You know what I mean? He had all those incredible feuds, and at the time we didn't think much of it. But looking back at them now, like Edge is seriously considered as one of the best in the history of the company.
He's done
Literally everything, yeah.
And Paige is just right at the beginning of her career.
Yeah.
To
She's
me,
what, 25?
yeah, to me she feels like the female version of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. And,
Like she's gonna go
she was
keep
just
going to
getting
get tests
started.
and
Yeah.
getting the tests done, and then I mean with Daniel Bryan, like there's rumors saying that he might leave and go wrestle somewhere else. We'll see what she does.
Yeah, I read that was another concern, that maybe they're avoiding announcing that her neck is so messed up because they think that she's gonna go somewhere else and wrestle, and they don't want that bad PR to lose an employee and have them go injure themselves, which could very well be also a factor in this.
And WWE doesn't want to be seen as the people who like
Injure people.
injure people. You know what I mean? They don't want to be seen as that. I mean, who was the Japanese wrestler that just got hurt and ended his career? Was that Kushida?
I have no idea, honestly.
There was a there was a
That's what-
Japanese wrestler that like, but that doesn't happen that often. Even though they are like really stiff over there, and so I don't know if it's just because Paige is young. Like I mean that's a good idea that like they just don't want to tell her in case she does want to go somewhere else because she was an indie darling, right?
She was
Kinda.
back, she was back home, not like in the Indies, but in her homeland.
And but that was a little bit ago before like the indies actually exploded, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Plus, The Rock's producing that movie about her and her family,
Yeah.
which they probably want to keep her around for that entire PR train as well.
Right. I just we're all dumbfounded because usually WWE will announce something like this, especially if it's this major. And I just don't know if it's within the storyline or the parameters of what they're trying to do. Or
Because I've only seen it on websites and other things trying to.
Maybe they're just waiting for the right time, I guess. I mean, I don't know when the right time would be, but
and like we joke a lot about like Melts and everything, but it's not just him. It's almost all of the dirt sheets, almost all of the reporters.
Because Meltz wasn't even the first to report it. It was,
Right.
I think it was PWI, and then Meltz was like, yeah, this is real.
And I mean, we also joke a lot about like the fallout that Paige had with the leaks and all the scandals and everything. But poor girl must have had a tough year. You know what I
She
mean?
did.
That's a tough thing to be hacked like that. And like I said, we make a lot of jokes about it, but at the same time, like that's a tough
She
thing to go
considered
through.
suicide.
Especially-
Yeah.
There was a big story about that too recently on her, I think, Lillian Garcia's podcast.
yeah.
She talked about how she was depressed and she.
Oh,
was,
she wouldn't come out of
she
her
wasn't
house for like
eating,
2 months.
She considered suicide.
Especially
It was a
with
serious deal.
that thing with Del Rio and him being,
And
mentally
just-
abusive to that.
yeah.
I can't
Coke
believe.
addict.
Physically
Yeah.
abusive
That's
too.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She's had a tough year, and I was really, really pulling for her to have a phenomenal
Oh,
year.
2018 was her year.
It was supposed to be her year. And this will be heartbreaking news if this is actually the case. But yeah, we're going to have to continue to watch Raw. We're going to have to continue to watch the updates to see if she is healthy, to see if she gets those tests. Have to be excited for the future. Someone also that we're interested to see if about tests and everything is Daniel Bryan. You guys talked about him, and we have no idea what's happening with that either.
the latest that he has said is that if he doesn't wrestle by Mania, then he's probably not going to wrestle ever with WWE.
And I mean, there are reports of him being in the Rumble even.
Yeah. I hate those because it's like I don't want to get my hopes up again. Today I was watching 2014 and 2015's Rumbles, which are the ones that he should have won, both of them. And it made me so upset all over again. And if this happens again, I get my hopes up again, and he doesn't show up again. I can't do this 3 times.
And I
Third
don't.
time's a charm, Nick.
Right.
He's coming.
And I don't want him. I honestly do not want to see him versus Shane. As much as I enjoyed AJ versus Shane, that's a whole different. That AJ is wrestling still. Like I just like I don't want to see Daniel and Shane.
I think like as a gateway for him to come back to wrestling as a Mania spectacle, I'm okay with it as long as he continues in SummerSlam. He has a match with AJ Styles or something,
or Brock
or
Lesnar,
Nakamura, or Brock Lesnar, or something like that. I'm fine with it as a launching point, but not as a one-time last match.
Yeah.
thing.
What were you saying, Dame?
I don't even remember now.
It
Love the
happens.
show.
It happens.
it's a great show.
But one of the bigger things that I honestly would probably prefer to see is the 10K show that Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks are trying to put on.
What's it like? All In? Is that what they're calling it now?
Mhm.
I don't. Are they calling
I
it
think
All
it's
In?
called All In. Yeah.
Because they just announced Tessa Blanchard tonight. It's gonna be, she's gonna be on that show.
So what is this show? I haven't heard anything about it.
So Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, essentially, someone asked Dave Meltzer on Twitter if they could sell out a 10,000 seat arena, if they could sell out 10K. And Melt said,
Okay,
not anytime soon. And Cody said,
He's like, okay.
let's sell out 10K seats then. So they're putting on the show later this year, towards the end of the summer, and they are specifically holding out for Daniel Bryan. That's the whole reason
Well,
why they're.
I read today that it's like a few weeks before his contract runs out. It's like
But
beginning of September.
have they
he's
confirmed a
contracted.
place even yet?
I don't
Because
think so.
so they have all
They have a date, but not a location, I believe.
I mean, if they have a date and not a location,
pretty
it's a lot
foolish.
easier to change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they do get in talks with Daniel Bryan, like, hey,
I
come
think
wrestle in our
they
main
could
event
change it.
against Cody, like.
That's gonna
Oh.
sell more than 10K seats.
Oh
I'll
my
tell you that
God.
much right
Yeah.
there.
People will be scalping those tickets like heavily.
Jeez.
Road
Um,
trip boys.
I said
I
he
would
should.
consider, yeah.
Hey, I tweeted at him and said, "Come to Ball State because Schumann Stadium, or not Schumann, Worthen Arena
Is that
has what,
okay?
like 14K.
Yeah, we
something
can't even
like
get that for basketball games.
Right,
so
I
let's-
know.
We can get it for wrestling. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, everyone would travel to Muncie.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan. That's an interesting thing because we've been seeing that unfold, and being told it was never going to happen ever, and then it's here. We're talking about it.
Oh, don't do this to me.
I know. But another interesting thing that is happening, or already happened, actually, after SmackDown, which unfortunately we can't really watch. I mean, I was setting up and they were watching the Mixed Match Challenge, which they put in, and I didn't see the match, so I don't know how it went. I don't know how it went over, if it was just bland.
There's a lot of hissing from Natalia and Nakamura. They were cats.
Yeah, they're in their
It
cat
was kind
thing.
of cartoony.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was good for what it was. It's a casual thing. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
it's a casual fan.
I think it will
thing.
get better as the weeks go on. You get the teams that don't really matter, like Natalia and Nakamura. I mean, Nakamura's great,
Wow.
but Natalia is
Terrible.
terrible. You got Goldust and Alicia Fox. They'll be out the first
Dude,
round.
they're my picks.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm
come
just
on.
kidding.
So
I'm totally kidding.
as far as I know, because I haven't looked too much into the Mixed Match Challenge, it's a match after SmackDown a week, right?
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
12 weeks or something.
So
like that.
tonight we saw the team of Finn Balor and Sasha Banks beat Natalia Nakamura.
Sasha tapped out Natalia.
Sasha tapped out Natalia.
Yes.
Interesting. I don't know what the end game is for this, if they want to do more intergender things, because I know on the indies they do some intergender things.
I know what the reason for it is that they just recently did a contract with Facebook Live to do like original programming on Facebook Live. I don't know why they chose mixed match.
I was going to
challenge.
say why the Mixed
Yeah,
Match
I
Challenge
can't
if there's a
answer
reason
that, but
for
that's
it.
why they're doing this now.
I mean, I saw that it had like 110K, I think.
Yeah. It was like
So, I
160.
mean,
Viewers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
it had a
that's
lot.
pretty good.
I think it had like 130 at one point. I
Yeah.
saw.
I mean,
Wow.
as the weeks get going and the bigger names,
Yeah. when we
they'll
get
have more.
Yeah, but I'm
Sammy,
almost wondering if it'll drop just because that was the initial thing. Everybody wanted to check out what it was about, and then
Maybe.
drops
But I'm
off.
sure more like the actual like hardcore fans will start tuning in more once we get like Sammy and Becky versus Sasha and Finn. will be a
Alexa
lot
Bliss,
more
I think
fun.
that's
Braun
next
Strowman.
week.
Alexa and Braun will be a good one too.
Mhm.
I was gonna just say, what are some of the other matches?
Charlotte
that
and
we
Bobby
are
Roode.
seeing?
A lot of people would want
The
to see
racket's
that.
weird, so I'm not
Biggie
really
and
sure.
Carmella.
Yeah, like we can list the teams, but I don't know
Yeah,
how
I
the
don't-
bracket's
I
set
don't-
up exactly.
It
I
goes week by week. I don't know.
I was confused because they put a lot of faces with a lot of heels, and like the videos that they showed to like announce these. Like, for example, I saw Becky Lynch
That was so
and like
weird.
Sami Zayn was out in the crowd with like, which was funny, and it would have been great if Sami Zayn was a
It
face.
reminded me of like corny like prom proposals. Like there was a whole bunch of them that were kind of like that. Were like, and then Natalia was taking selfies and Nakamura's in the background. Oh, will you be my partner? It's like,
Yeah, it was
why
weird.
is it so weird and like campy like that? I don't get it.
So next week we'll be seeing The Miz and Asuka versus Biggie Carmella. Biggie and Carmella, not Biggie Carmella. Carmella Eaton. No, Big E and Carmella. I think The Miz and Asuka are a shoo-in for that match.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I heard an interesting idea. Someone said that it'd be really cool if Carmella cashed in during the tournament. Is Charlotte in the? Yeah, she is with,
Yeah.
with Bobby
She was
Roode.
Bobby
Yeah.
Roode, yeah.
It'd be cool for her to get knocked out in the first round, just for her to come back in a later round, just to have that anything can happen feel to it. Maybe increase ratings or viewers or whatever.
that'd be interesting. I don't know.
Also, people can go back on Facebook Live and rewatch
Yeah.
them, so that would get more viewers to Facebook.
And you know that they love their first time ever things with the women. So to have a first time ever someone loses their championship on the internet instead of on the TV, that's a cool concept.
That's
right
why we need an internet championship,
I've been
Nick.
saying that since Zack Ryder brought it up.
that I've been
6 years
saying
ago.
forever on this podcast that they need a tertiary title of some sort. But some of the other teams we'll be seeing week 3 we'll have Strowman and Bliss versus Sami Zayn and Becky Lynch.
What's big two?
Huh?
What's big two?
Asuka and Miz
Asuka
versus
and Miz
Biggie
and
and
Biggie
I-
Carmella.
I
You
tuned out.
goon.
I zoned out.
But week 4 we'll be having Goldust and Alicia Fox versus I think it's Jey Uso that's married to
No, it's Jimmy.
Naomi. It's Jimmy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jey Uso is in hot water, but apparently not. I think he bailed himself out. I dropped my phone. But we'll also be seeing Elias and Bailey, which is a
Well, it's supposed to be
It's
Samoa
just 'cause
Joe.
Joe got hurt.
Yeah, it's supposed
Yeah.
to be Samoa Joe.
and Rusev and Lana, which
Thank God.
awesome.
Yeah.
They finally put them together.
It is-
like
It's weird how all the pairings are either really good or just like what in the heck's
Weird.
going on?
Right.
Yeah.
But funny, like Rusev didn't act like he was that happy to be paired with his wife.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
woo,
Lana.
yeah.
he's
Lana,
also
love
for
you.
whatever reason not like a face.
That's true.
So I don't.
But I mean, it's his wife.
They're in a weird spot right now. I don't know.
And then the last match, week 6, we'll be seeing Apollo Crews and Nia Jax.
I didn't know that was a team until like yesterday.
I
It
didn't
was
know it was
supposed
a
to.
team
I
until
thought it was
right
supposed
now.
to be Enzo. I think it was supposed to be
Oh, it was
Enzo.
supposed to be
Yeah,
Enzo.
and then since he's hurt with his knee or his foot or something.
He's
that-
actually hurt.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it happened when he was sick in the hospital, and they just said, "Okay, you're off the mixed match challenge. Goodbye." I don't know what happened there.
And then they'll be going up against Bobby Roode and Charlotte Flair.
Those two are gonna go.
I was gonna say it's gonna be an obvious
Yeah.
Bobby Roode and Charlotte Flair win for that one.
The Rope Warriors.
It's a cool. I'll have to go back later tonight and watch that mixed match challenge. I don't know if it was like if
It
it's
seemed
was
like a
interesting.
okay tag
And they
match.
had Beth Phoenix on commentary. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, we didn't know who it was. We had to Google it.
Yeah,
is it
who is
just
it?
her?
It's
No.
Beth Phoenix,
Michael Cole, and
Corey.
Graves.
Graves.
Yeah.
Michael Cole was on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he
Continuity, you know.
I was gonna say continuity. I thought he was like.
Graves, Cole.
I thought he was killed by Strowman.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's why you said that. I was like, yeah. Oh well.
People just
and
forget
also
about
they
it.
had Sammy and Becky commenting on the thing too. So
Yeah,
people-
they're on
Oh,
their,
like,
on their
the
phones.
That's a
Arms.
cool aspect to it as well because you don't have that during the live show. You don't have like, and you can have wrestlers like talking smack in the middle of the show, which is a cool idea.
Yeah,
It's cool. I'm excited for the future. Speaking of being excited for the future, Damien, give us your first finisher of 2018.
Jesus.
that was
Wow,
That was very
that's a cool
abrupt.
finisher.
That's a good finisher.
Nick, no.
Hang on.
I don't know, John. I don't know. I don't have a finisher. Come back to me.
Okay. Nick?
I want to try something new.
Okay.
I'm gonna introduce a new segment to make. We want to have a new formula, a new segment here.
Sure. I mean, I like the idea of the
Instead of the
finisher,
finisher?
but
Well, no, my finisher will be. I'll have a finisher next week.
Oh, okay,
My finisher
okay,
this
okay.
week is introducing the new segment.
Oh, okay.
The question of the week. So we can do like an interactive deal on Twitter and stuff. We can have this.
There we go.
We can talk about it here. We can talk about it on Twitter after the show.
do you have a question?
Yeah. This week is gonna be a push, fire, and NXT. So I'm gonna list 3 people on the main roster.
I like it. Have you been thinking about this?
Yes, I'm thinking this for a while. I'm excited.
Why didn't you tell me?
I'm gonna list 3 guys. Cause I'm gonna surprise you. 3 guys that are kind of mid card right now, and we're gonna pick one to push them, pick one to fire, pick one to put in NXT. Zach.
So we're all gonna discuss
Yeah,
it.
yeah. We're all gonna go around
Okay.
and check. I'm not gonna answer that. You guys are. Okay. Zack Ryder, Dolph Ziggler, and Bobby Roode.
Okay. Okay.
Push, fire, NXT. Zack Ryder, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode.
That's a hard one.
I was gonna say, does anybody want to go first?
Who wants to tee off first?
I'll try it. I'll try it out. So I would, man, I'd push Dolph. Yeah, I mean,
nice.
I like Dolph a lot, and I feel like he needs to do what he deserves to be. He deserves to be a champion. He deserves to be a main eventer. So I feel like he could do that, and that's what I would do. I'd probably fire Zach. I love Zach, but I mean, I feel like Bobby's just too good, and to just get fired just from WWE. So I feel like Zach would fire, then send Bobby back to NXT, because Bobby could actually have some good feuds with like Aleister Black and
Oh my gosh.
and
Yeah.
Velveteen Dream and Johnny Gargano and all that. Oh, he had a feud with Johnny. Never
See,
mind.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
untapped potential with Bobby right now because he's just floating around. Which is
Yeah.
why I wanted him in this question because he could do anything on any show right now and make money off of it.
Besides the fact that he won the United States title,
Yeah.
which we forgot to
Which
mention.
is
but-
going to lead probably back to Dolph versus Bobby again, which is, again, he's still in that mid card purgatory,
Right.
not doing anything.
I would also push Bobby, just because I.
Wait, also, he said push.
I pushed Dolph.
Oh, you pushed
Bobby
Dolph.
NXT.
Oh, I'm pushing Bobby then.
There you go.
I will push Bobby. I think that he's older, so like, give him his due. He has a lot of momentum from NXT still. Like, a lot of people still think he's over. I would actually fire Dolph. The reason I would fire Dolph is because I would want to see what Dolph Ziggler can do,
And JPW.
and not just
Ring of
not
Honor.
just New Japan. I would love to see what he could do actually in the British independent scene.
Like Progress and all that.
Ricochet, Will Ospreay, a lot of those guys that are doing those moves like that, I think Ziggler would be a great fit over there. And I think that he could really bring a lot of talent out of people, and I'd be interested to see that. And then I would put Zack Ryder in NXT. Not for a particular reason, but because the other two choices,
By default.
Yeah.
by default, Zack Ryder has to go to NXT. He's not bad. It's just he's not.
That's how I felt about Bobby.
He's not. Honestly, and this sounds weird. Zack Ryder to me is not as interesting to fire and go somewhere else as Dolph Ziggler is.
Yeah.
So to put Dolph Ziggler in NXT, it would just feel like he's on SmackDown again, because he goes through the NXT guys anyways.
You're right.
So I would like to see what he can do against a Will Ospreay or against a Marty Squirrel. Marty Squirrel. I'm sure he's heard that probably a time or two. Yeah,
I like your choices. You're kind of making me decide, switching. But I like them.
this is
You
you,
ready-
buddy.
you
You
ready
couldn't
for
think of a
this?
finisher. Can you at least answer the question?
Dude, I'd push Bobby to the moon because I like Bobby. Bobby. Dang it, Bobby. That boy ain't right.
Boy.
Hang up, Bobby.
I'd fire Zack Ryder. I love Zack Ryder, but come on, Nick. The boy doesn't do anything anyway, so maybe
I
he
agree.
could go to
I
the
agree.
Indies and
I
do
think he could
something.
do well. I think he could do well, man.
Oh, heck yeah, he could. And then I'd put Dolph on NXT because Dolph and Aleister Black or Dolph and Velveteen Dream, those would be
Good matches.
really good matches. And Dolph day in and day out, Dolph can put on a good show. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's Nick. Did you even answer the question?
Do you want me to?
Yeah, I would like you to.
It's your question. You answer.
I'm co-signing Damien.
Okay.
Push Bobby, fire Zach, and put Dolph in NXT. Mostly because I want to see Dolph in NXT, because Dolph could tear it down with any of those guys, like he was saying.
He could tear it down with anybody.
Imagine him in the Undisputed Era, any of those three guys. Can you imagine that? Him against Eric Young, him against any of the big boys, like the Authors of Pain, Roderick Strong,
Gargano
Oh.
or Ciampa.
Ciampa.
Yeah, I think Dolph in NXT would be really compelling to have the angry old vet who never gets a push relegated to the minor league.
Wait, Nick, let me have some insight on this question of the week. Is it going to always be Push Fire NXT?
I think I might bring it back every now and then.
Okay.
But like, I want to have a different question.
You should be in charge of. You should be in charge of question of the week, and don't tell us.
And do you want me to put it on Twitter too, so the fans can vote? Yeah,
I don't
I'll
know.
put it on Twitter.
We'll figure
Put it on Facebook too.
Oh, yeah.
Post, whether it's the day of the episode post or the day after we record, or
Right.
whatever. But
Okay.
yeah, this will be a new thing.
I like it.
Thanks.
I like it.
Ethan, you gotta.
Ethan, do you have a finisher?
I mean, yeah, I've been trying to think of stuff. Because I completely forgot about the finishers. Luckily, I wasn't first.
Happens.
Yeah, but you know what? We haven't really talked about Kurt Angle coming back. What do you guys think of like his WrestleMania match is going to be? Do you think it's going to be Jason Jordan? Do you think it's going to be Daniel Bryan?
It's your finisher, bud.
I mean, I'm curious what you
Open
guys. I mean,
discussion?
I personally think it's going to be Jason Jordan. I think it would be. It'd be.
I mean, from
hell
the
of a match.
start, I've been saying I wanted to see Jason Jordan say that like he's not actually Kurt Angle's son.
That was something that I thought, like, what if they had him colluding with the Authority to get on Raw to get a push?
Especially seeing Kurt Angle. The YouTube videos I've been watching has made a good point of this. Not that they've made the correlation, but as you said tonight, because we actually missed SmackDown, Daniel Bryan made a match. Daniel Bryan makes matches. Kurt Angle has to go through Stephanie McMahon in storyline. So, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, because originally I was thinking Triple H versus Kurt, but now I'm thinking Triple H and Braun.
Yeah, that's what I was
which would
thinking
mean that Kurt could then fight Jason, but still be an anti-authority match with Jason being with Triple H.
Ethan, what do you think? Because this is your finisher.
I think it's gonna be Jason Jordan. I thought it was gonna be Triple H for a while, and then I've been reading up on some stuff and trying to think hard about it. And I think it's gonna be Jason Jordan, and I think it'll be a very compelling match, and a good match too, since they're both wrestlers, amateur wrestlers.
Well, let me ask you this:
yeah.
Who wins?
Who wins?
Jason Jordan.
Man, I think I'd pick Jason.
You'd have to.
That would push him to the moon
like,
too.
Because honestly,
who would they book to?
Yeah, that's true.
honestly,
Yeah.
Jason
That'd push
Jordan
him to
is
the
finally
moon.
fitting
Yeah.
into his character.
He's so good right. That's why I
like-
put him in my top 5 today. God damn.
I know.
He's
That's-
really.
that
good.
would surprise me.
I really
but-
love him.
Damien, do you want a finisher or do you want me to just go?
No, I'll take the finisher. I told the boys about World of Wheels in Indianapolis. I'm gonna. That's a cheap pop for World of Wheels, but Kevin Owens is going to be at World of Wheels on February 9th. Tickets are $16. My aunt, she texted me about it because over the years we've went to it, and I've met Edge and I've met Daniel Bryan, and they've met Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, a bunch of guys. And back here behind me is my autograph that I got, and I think it was like $5 for that, photograph of Daniel Bryan. I think it's an 8x10, maybe. I'm not sure.
Probably.
I'm
not sure what the size is.
Most likely.
But I mean, it's some great memories I've had, and I want to go to that with the boys. So
Yeah.
sorry, Walmart. I'm probably gonna have to
Cheap pop
either
pop.
ask
Cheap pop
for
pop.
ask off or call in.
Just Walmart. It's just
Feeling pretty
Walmart.
sick already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My finisher is I think that Nia Jax and Asuka is going to be the match that we didn't know we wanted to see, but is going to be one of the best women's matches of this year. Whenever that actual blow off
It happened last night.
but I think that it's going to happen more.
It happened at NXT.
I think
without her
that-
knee giving out
I
or
think
whatever.
that I think it's going to be an actual feud that's going to happen, and it's going to be one of the best
It's
of
a
the
hot
year.
take finisher. I like
Yeah.
it.
I mean, you guys know that I like Nia. Like
Yeah,
I
you
think
sure
Oh
do.
yeah.
no, no. They had a split. They had a split moment with Nia where like her character was finally coming into play and like she had a personality, and I was like, yes, go Nia, get pushed, and then it just petered off.
What do you think of her and Enzo?
I hate it. I hate
think
it.
it's cool.
That's
I think
awesome.
it's interesting.
I
It's
just
pretty interesting.
I hate it.
Especially since they're
So
two
smooth.
totally two different characters.
It's
Yeah.
new, man.
It's new.
Yeah, but it's not Nia Jax, and it's not the character I believe
It's a different
that Nia
dynamic.
Jax
It's
can
a different
be.
dynamic, though.
I like it
She's
better.
got a
I
weak
like.
side.
I think the idea that you guys
Where
are.
am I every week?
I think the personality that you guys are feeling with Nia Jax right now is how I was feeling when she was doing her thing with Alexa Bliss, when we were finally seeing some personality from her. And I would rather have that dynamic than have her like succumbing to some man, especially Enzo.
How you doing?
Yeah, it's just
I
it's
I agree
despicable.
that's cringy. Yeah.
So yeah, I think even a hotter take. I think 2018 is Nia Jax's year.
The year of Nia.
I think it's the year of Nia. I think she has a
You think
lot
she-
of steam
Do you
behind
think
her.
she's gonna be the one that ends Asuka's streak?
I don't know.
I
Probably.
think she will.
I
If
think
not her,
so.
then Ronda Rousey, which will be even worse than
No.
Nia.
Yeah. I want to say that WWE will put her in a big marquee match where she'll lose it to like a Charlotte or a Bailey could use it very much
Alexa
so.
could use it.
I don't know if Alexa needs it.
She doesn't need it, no, but I
no,
feel like
she
she
doesn't.
could.
I think someone who needs
Please
it would
God, no.
probably be like a Bailey. If you really wanted to cement Charlotte as the, I don't want to say the best because like there are a lot of women to go through, like Trish Stratus and Lita and all them. But if you want to cement Charlotte as quite possibly the best women's wrestler, she could go over on Asuka and be the one to beat her. But yeah, I think my finisher is 2018 is the year of Nia. Definitely a women's championship this year at some point, and I'm excited for the future.
Nice.
Hey, that's my line. Don't steal it.
That's a good way to
I didn't say it
take this
tonight.
to the end.
Yeah. Speaking of the end, that is going to be it for this week's episode of the Four Corners Podcast. Make sure you stay tuned on YouTube. We will be having our shows, of course, on here. Tune into all of the social media, Twitter. We have a new Facebook page. All those links will be in the description. We will post questions. We will post all these updates and stuff that we do. And from everyone here at the Four Corners Podcast, we wish you a wonderful day. Keep watching wrestling, keep listening to us, and keep fighting the good fight.